Hey everybody, it's Car Ray Rob. I'm Ray.
I'm Rob.
Today we're doing our before and after trailer breakdown for the Netflix original Stranger Things Season 2. You know, I really liked Stranger Things Season 1. I got into it a little bit late. I know you started watching it before me and kind of got me into it. It was fun. It wasn't perfect. What'd you think?
Overall, it was a fun watch. I will say I kept waiting for it to become more than just a nostalgia trip. And I think it did to an extent, but I still think overall I'm waiting for it to really find its voice beyond just being this photograph of the 80s, like sci-fi horror 80s. So I'm hoping that Season 2 they finally kind of do that.
I think they stuck to what their initial pitch was, and their pitch was 80s nostalgia trip.
Yeah.
And they executed that part well.
Yeah, no,
well.
absolutely. Yeah, they absolutely did.
I remember watching much of that, thinking that this wasn't Season 1, that this was a mini-series and this was it.
Right.
Then you saw in the last episode or two episodes, they started to branch off and make some room for a Season 2, but I'm not sure how much room they left themselves.
Yeah, by the end of the first season, I'm like, man, I don't even really know what they would do for a second season. I guess it kind of depends on, what happens to some of these characters. So, like, 11 is a big question.
Yeah.
Obviously, she was such a huge part.
The best part.
Right. Of the first season. There's no way they can do this season without her. I mean, I know from what I've read and see that she is in it. I'm just curious as to how she's going to be
How
in
much.
it. Yeah, and, like, how that kind of plays into it. I do feel like, there's just some, ambiguity with that first season, like Matthew Modine's character,
Very
interested to
interesting.
see if he comes back and, like, more of his kind of story and going forward. So, I'm hoping they can dive into those things and will dive into those things. I'm really excited to join this group of guys again. These kids were really great together. I think when you get that type of chemistry between young kids, I think something like maybe like a Stand By Me or something, where you've got this like really tight group of friends that really just click together. You can tell they probably get along really well in real life. It carries onto the screen. So I'm really excited actually to get back into that group of friends and dive into where Season 1 sent them. The emotional journey that they're going to continue to go on.
Well, we can be part of that journey right here. Let's watch the trailer.
Let's check it out right now.
We gotta do this? Let's engage.
They're back.
Dragon Slayer.
This will tie into the monster at the end, just like in Season 1. Pay attention, people.
Hey guys, do you see the...
He doesn't have to work this season. He doesn't get to just sit in the upside down world the whole time.
Can I just get kidnapped again?
I got paid as much as everybody else, but I didn't do anything.
Will! Are you okay?
It wasn't a clown, was it?
Definitely wasn't a dragon.
I think it was multi-headed dragon. Could be. Who knows?
Now, Steve. God.
I saw something. What is it? I don't know.
Nice bowl cut.
Felt it everywhere.
Darkness falls across the land.
Speaking of 80s
The
movies.
midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize your neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found
Sometimes I feel
Kind of
like
love Michael Jackson.
I still see her.
must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot
The trap worked?
inside a corpse's shell.
Don't look directly into the trap.
I just looked directly into the trap.
They wear Ghostbusters outfits the entire season.
What does it want? Not me. Everyone else.
Sean Astin.
Where's the lamb? Mr. Stranger Thing.
This one's got 11.
So I have to say, I don't know if it really got over that nostalgia hump, at least
Didn't try
by
to.
this trailer. Yeah.
Ghostbuster outfits, the thriller music. This is Halloween, so that kind of makes some sense. But they're definitely throwing in your face. We're still in the 80s. Don't you forget about it.
Like, again, I'm not against using those
Right.
types of things for, timestamps, fun little Easter eggs here and there. But when you really start relying on it heavily, and it almost becomes cheesy, and that's my worry.
They don't really need to rely on it anymore because the cast is set up now. They're developed. You're kind of hooked into them. So tell a good story with those characters and you're going to get bought in. The story could take place anywhere now, anytime.
Absolutely.
You're going to be hooked in if they do a good job executing it. I think some parts of the story look kind of interesting. It kind of looks like through Will, the two worlds are starting to meld together.
Yeah, like bleed again.
Yeah, so I
like
guess
that.
that's kind of what what they're going to go for in this chapter. This upside down world starting to bleed through. We saw some clips of a monster.
I remember they had actually released that picture a while back.
I think with the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and so we weren't really sure what that was, and still don't. In the context of this trailer, I think it works really well. I'll be curious to see if that's the big bad itself, and there's maybe like some minions that branch off from that, because is it just going to be one of those things that's kind of terrorizing Will? Is everybody going to see this thing, or how that's going to work?
I mean, to be a real horror show, everybody has to be scared, not just Will, right? So there's got to be something that all the kids can try to save each other from, something that you're going to see. And we didn't really get too many hints of that. We did see the trap.
Something's
made of a shoebox, but still effective. That's cool
for a homemade costume prop. Thumbs up on that. They look really awesome. Something's inside that trap. They're going to look directly into the trap.
Never good.
Never good. I'm still not 100% sold that A, the narrative is going to be rock solid, and B, they're getting over that nostalgia trip, but it still does look like a lot of fun.
One thing I'm worried about is you kind of see the characters in a lot of familiar poses from last season. The sisters being brave with the gun. The sheriff still looks like he's being the brave sheriff.
Steve is always
still
going to
looks
be a douche.
So I'm hoping we see something different with the characters, like new paths that they go down. And this is a trailer, so they're trying to remind you a lot of season 1 while at the same time push season 2. But hopefully we get to see those guys take a little bit of different journeys.
Will's back, so hopefully Winona Ryder won't be crying the whole time.
It still looks like she might be.
If they can really put a narrative together, the chemistry between the cast is still there. A lot of those other worries that I have, I can probably forgive.
Right. But they did save the best for last with 11. They kind of show that little, how is she getting back? And, I'm guessing that with the two worlds mixing, she's going to get this opportunity to come back. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting how you play that, because you have to keep her sacrifice at the end of season 1 credible.
Yeah, if they make it too easy, if she's back in the real world by the end of episode 1, it really is going to make it really meaningless what she did at the end of last season. Who knows if we're going to spend, part of this second season with her alone.
That's what I could anticipate.
I agree, and I think they maybe put that clip in there of her pushing her way through the goo.
It's finally happening.
Right, or even if that's even where she does end up coming back, that could just be like a little thing to show that it is going to happen, but it may not be that particular scene.
Right.
But again, you're right. If it's too easy, it's going to come off kind of lame. Okay, seeing as how I watched season 1 first before you, I'm going to ask you first. Midnight it, stream it, forget it. Where are you at with season 2 of Stranger Things?
I'm going to midnight this. I want to see if I can see it before you and kind of ruin the ending for you.
Not that you did.
It's
a heinous charge.
But I thought they did enough in the first season to get me hooked to want to continue the journey with the young kids, with 11, see what they're going to do there. I wonder how much room they have to have a great second season, especially with a longer season. But hopefully Netflix gave them a little bit more freedom. They can do a little bit more stuff. They've got a proven track record now. They're going to execute it. It's going to be a fun watch. I'm going to midnight it.
All right, I'm going to agree with you. I midnighted that first season, so I'm going to probably midnight this one as well. I'm not 100% sold, rock solid that the narrative's going to be there, but I'm curious to see what they got. The chemistry still looks good, so that gives a really vote of confidence for me. It looks like a lot of fun, and I think that's really what I'd be looking for in a show like this.
All right, everybody, that's it for me and Rob. But now we want to hear from you guys. How do you think 11's going to get back? And do you think the 80s nostalgia trip is working, or maybe a bit too much? Let us know in the comments below.
Then hit that like and subscribe button to catch all of our upcoming videos.
Till then, this is Car Ray Rob, and I'm Ray.
And I'm Rob. I'm worried, Ray. It's getting crowded in there, and all my recent data points to something very big on the horizon.
What do you mean, big?
Well, let's say this Twinkie represents the normal amount of psychokinetic energy in the New York area. According to this morning's sample, it would be a Twinkie 35 feet long, weighing approximately 600 pounds.
That's a big Twinkie.